Hello, I'm Alara, and today we're talking about building an unbreakable body with an invincible mindset. Aging is inevitable, but decline is a choice, and we are focusing on the secrets of vibrant longevity. Our blood vessels are the 60,000-mile highway system of our body, and if they're compromised, everything fails. The number one killer is cardiovascular disease, meaning our circulation system is our biggest weakness. When I say anti-aging, I mean keeping the lining of my arteries slick and clean, like a new road. Solution: 2 apples a day for chlorogenic acid. It's proven to pave the slipperiness of my blood vessels. And I combine apples with pears and peaches for a full dose of artery-smoothing bioactives. When I feel brain fog, I remind myself, it's not a memory issue, it's a temporary circulation problem. I boost my nitric oxide with beets and spinach every morning to instantly dilate my brain's blood vessels. And vascular dementia is more common than Alzheimer's. Maintaining blood flow to the brain is my daily priority. I practice deep, diaphragmatic breathing. This simple act is free Viagra for my brain and vessels. 30 seconds of cold shower exposure is my daily vascular calisthenics. It snaps my vessels into shape. I eat cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage because they contain sulforaphanes that actively groom my circulation. Chronic inflammation is like a wildfire scorching my vessel lining. My gut microbiome is the fire department. I feed my gut fiber and polyphenols to lower inflammation and stop the destruction of my vessel walls. And I remind myself, my life flows through my vessels, so keep the roads clear. Collagen is not just for smooth skin. It's the crystal clear structure of my eye's cornea. And without vitamin C, the beautiful triple helix structure of my collagen unravels. Think scurvy. I treat red bell peppers, kiwi, and guava as my daily, non-negotiable sources of whole food vitamin C. I ensure I get quality amino acids from protein at every meal. They are the threads I use to weave new collagen. Bone broth is not a fad. It provides the collagen fragments that signal my own body to make more of its own. Those collagen fragments are signaling molecules that tell my tired fibroblasts to get back to work rebuilding. I make my own savory gelatin using unflavored powder and bone broth for a potent collagen boost. I use specific stretching and movement routines to physically maintain the elasticity of my collagen-rich fascia. My daily face cream ritual starts with a vitamin C serum, because it's the cofactor my skin needs to synthesize collagen. Collagen supplements work because those fragments get into your bloodstream and activate the repair cells. I found that my stiff joints and creaky movements were often just a collagen water vitamin C problem. When I feel my emotional resilience dip, I know it's time to activate my hope molecules. My muscles are my pharmacy. When I exercise, they release myokines that travel to my brain and boost my optimism. Regular physical activity is the safest, most effective, natural antidepressant I have ever discovered. I don't just work out for my abs. I work out specifically for the mood-boosting, cognitive benefits of myokines. When a negative thought loop starts, I immediately do 10 minutes of intense, fast movement to flood my brain with hope. I schedule my toughest emotional conversations right after my morning strength training session, when my optimism is highest. My resilience is a direct result of my regular release of hope molecules. And I use the feeling of post-workout euphoria to tackle challenging creative projects or learning new skills. I remind myself that the optimism I feel is a chemical reality, not just a fleeting emotion. My journey to longevity is not about avoiding death. It's about having the optimistic mindset to enjoy every moment. I practice active optimism by finding 3 things to be grateful for immediately after my cool-down stretch. Sarcopenia, the insidious loss of muscle mass, is the true enemy of independence in old age. Muscle is the chassis of my body, and I need a strong chassis to protect my joints and my balance. I prioritize functional fitness movements, like practicing getting up from the floor without using my hands. And I check my grip strength regularly. It's a powerful and simple biomarker for my overall longevity risk. I make sure my resistance training includes full-body, compound movements to maximize the HGH and myokine release. I found that my body felt less achy and more energetic when I started focusing on building muscle, not just cardio. I've started gardening intensely. It's the perfect, complex movement to challenge my muscles and boost my mood. I maintain my muscle mass by eating protein first at every meal to ensure maximum anabolic response. I use my renewed strength to lift and play with my grandchildren, making my fitness about connection, not vanity. I view every pound of muscle as a longevity investment that pays dividends in energy and metabolic health. Let's explore the cutting edge. Exosomes are the cell's regeneration signals. We can harness them. Exosomes are tiny little packets that carry microRNA, genetic instructions that tell other cells to reboot themselves. I use the concept of an exosome reboot to completely clear and reset my digital and mental clutter. I apply plant exosomes from aloe vera and ginger in my routine. They are nature's own regeneration signals. I'm consciously harvesting hope and regeneration by prioritizing my social connections and acts of service. The belief that I can look and feel young is half the battle. How I perceive myself affects my behavior. I choose to see my wrinkles as maps of experience, not failures, but I support my skin with the best science. My approach to longevity is holistic: clean water, strong muscles, quiet mind, and a joyful spirit. And I always look at ingredient labels for simple, pure components. Factory additives pollute my system. I check my supplements and bone broth for hidden sugars and chemicals. Purity is everything. I've learned that small, simple decisions every single day add up to decades of healthy, vibrant living. I refuse to go to extremes. Sustainable, enjoyable habits are the true path to a long, well-lived life. I believe the future of anti-aging is not a pill, but the powerful combination of food, movement, and mindset, reminding you to nourish your vessels, strengthen your structure, and amplify your hope.
Go ahead, make today a victory for your future self.
I challenge myself to learn a new dance every month to keep my brain vessels flexible. I use my improved circulation to sit still for longer meditations. My mind is calmer now. I make my own Jell-O shots with high-quality gelatin and fruit juice for a delicious collagen boost. I found that my joint pain is significantly less when I ensure my diet is rich in sulforaphanes. I practice optimism on demand by smiling intensely for 30 seconds, even when I don't feel like it. I schedule no-screen Sundays to give my brain a full digital reboot, exosome style. I've learned to appreciate my wrinkles. They are proof that I've lived, laughed, and loved intensely. I use my renewed cognitive clarity to write daily gratitude lists, reinforcing my optimism. I prioritize strengthening my feet and ankles. A stable foundation prevents the falls that break hips. I use a foam roller daily to break up tension in my fascia and improve overall structural health. I believe that my posture is the first sign of my health. I stand tall. I make sure to eat protein, within 30 minutes of waking up to combat age-related muscle loss. I carry a tiny bottle of pink Himalayan salt in my gym bag for immediate electrolyte and vascular support. I drink an infusion of fresh ginger and lemon for a vascular and digestive cleanse. I've started mentoring young people. Giving back releases its own powerful, feel-good myokines. I treat my garden like my body. Constant tending, high-quality inputs, and lots of sunshine. I try to learn a new, challenging word every day to force my brain to create new vascular pathways. I use my increased physical strength to lift my own suitcase, prioritizing independence in travel. I avoid sitting for more than 45 minutes. I set a timer to stand and move to prevent circulation stagnation. I found that my anxiety reduced dramatically when I prioritized whole, nutrient-dense foods. I make sure my vitamin C intake comes from whole foods, not just a pill, for the added bioactives. I use my fasting routine to enhance my vascular health by lowering my chronic insulin levels. I always choose the stairs over the elevator. Every step is a vote for bone and muscle health. I've taught myself to breathe through my nose, even during exercise, to maximize nitric oxide production. I focus on eating dark, leafy greens for their high levels of vitamin K, essential for arterial health. And I choose to see the aging process as an evolution, a constant refinement of my true self. I always check my blood pressure at home. It's the simplest way to monitor my vascular health. I use a red light therapy device to stimulate collagen production and cellular repair in my skin. And I believe that my mental flexibility is the key to my longevity, not my physical strength alone. I make sure to laugh heartily every day, and it's an incredible cardiovascular and emotional release. I use my energy for meaningful projects, not just busy work. Purpose is the best life extender. I found that a few simple stretches before bed help my body with nighttime circulation and repair. I practice grip strengthening while watching TV. My ability to grasp is vital for independence. I actively seek out new experiences. New challenges force my brain to regenerate new vascular connections. I'm committed to reading the science myself, not just trusting the headlines. My health is my responsibility. I use my increased focus to declutter my physical space, which reduces my mental stress and cortisol. I'm intentional about spending time in nature. The exposure releases its own unique, calming myokines. I teach my friends about hope molecules to help them see exercise as a mood booster, not a chore. I always choose whole food sources of protein over highly processed powders for the added micronutrients. I've learned that a simple diet of real, unprocessed food is the best vascular protection there is. I use a tiny piece of ginger under my tongue for an immediate, natural circulation spike. I make sure my sleep environment is completely dark to maximize my nighttime cellular repair. I treat my body with kindness and respect, and it's the only place I have to live for the next 50 years. I use my enhanced mental clarity to write down my long-term goals for my health and finances. I've noticed that my skin looks the healthiest when I'm consistent with my vitamin C and collagen intake. I prioritize movements that open my chest and improve my posture to facilitate better circulation. I make sure my water is mineral-rich. Hydration is the medium for all my vascular and cellular communication. I believe that curiosity and a sense of wonder are the key anti-aging emotions. I refuse to let fear of injury stop me. I move mindfully and consistently to build resilience. I actively work on my emotional flexibility. A rigid mind is as aging as rigid arteries. I always keep a high-quality fish oil supplement on hand to combat internal inflammation. I make sure my daily protein intake is spaced out to keep my muscle repair processes constantly running. And I use music with a strong beat during my workouts to amplify the mood-boosting myokine release. I found that my body adapts quickly to the changes I implement. Trust your own resilience. I believe the greatest anti-aging hack is consistent, intentional self-care every single day. I make sure to thank my body after every workout for releasing those incredible hope molecules. I use the exosome concept in my relationships, sending positive reboot signals to my loved ones. I'm intentional about celebrating my small victories. Positive reinforcement fuels longevity. I've started a new, complex craft project to force my fine motor skills and cognitive function to work together. I view every challenge as an opportunity to test and strengthen my mental and physical resilience.
I make sure my kitchen is stocked with all the whole foods I need, making healthy choices easy.
I am my own best health advocate. I educate myself and choose what works for my unique body. I refuse to let past failures define my future health. Today is a new beginning. I use my youthful energy to mentor others, believing that teaching keeps my knowledge sharp. I've learned that a clear purpose in life is as vital for longevity as a clean diet. I always prioritize my hydration. Water is the carrier of all my anti-aging nutrients. I make sure my evening wind down includes no blue light to maximize my nighttime cellular repair. I use my increased physical stamina to explore new hiking trails and travel to new places. I believe that the mind and body are one system, and nourishing one nourishes the other. I make sure my diet is high in diverse, colorful vegetables for a wide range of anti-inflammatory polyphenols. I've noticed a significant improvement in my focus since I eliminated high-sugar foods from my diet. I use a simple 5-minute breathing exercise before any meal to optimize digestion and absorption. I actively seek out joy and laughter. They are non-negotiable for my cardiovascular health. And I am building a legacy of health and vitality for my family. That is my ultimate motivation. I use gentle stretching and massage to improve the fluid flow through my vessel-rich muscles. I make sure my supplements are high quality. No point in investing in cheap, ineffective products. I've learned to appreciate the subtle changes in my body that signal health or imbalance. I believe that every morning is an opportunity to reboot my cells with fresh, clean energy. I always include a source of healthy, saturated fat in my diet for strong cell membranes. I make sure my social interactions are meaningful and deep, not superficial and draining. I use my energy to pursue my passions, ensuring my life is filled with vitality and purpose. I am committed to lifelong learning. A curious mind is a young mind. I use a small, intentional act of kindness every day to boost my own emotional myokines. I make sure my home is filled with natural light to support my circadian rhythm and mood. I believe that a balanced, resilient body can handle the occasional indulgence without consequence. I am my own CEO of longevity, making executive decisions about my health every day. I've learned to embrace the temporary discomfort of growth in workouts and in life. I always ensure my final decision aligns with the healthy, vibrant character and image and one I envision myself to be. I use my free time to be active, not sedentary. Motion is the true elixir of life. I make sure my diet supports my emotional stability, minimizing the foods that cause energy crashes. I believe that consistency with simple habits yields far greater results than periodic extremism. I use a journal to track my mood and food intake, looking for patterns that help me optimize my health. I am committed to being a role model for healthy aging, proving that strength and joy are timeless. I make sure I celebrate my birthdays not with fear, but with gratitude for a body that serves me well. I use my clarity of mind to pursue creative endeavors that keep my spirit forever young. I always choose the solution that supports long-term health, even if it's the less convenient one. I believe in the power of the human body to heal itself, and my job is simply to provide the tools.
I make sure to spend time alone for reflection. Solitude is necessary for personal regeneration.
I use my knowledge of food as medicine to tailor my diet to my body's current needs. I've learned that listening to my body is the most sophisticated piece of health technology I own. I always end my day with a conscious, mindful review of all the healthy choices I made. I am the architect of my own healthy, vibrant future, and I choose to build an unbreakable self.